one mistake could lower your credit score by 100 points overnight. I've run a credit repair agency and I've seen it happen all too many times. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 of the most common mistakes that could cost you hundreds of points and thousands of dollars. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to avoid so you can protect your score, build your credit, and finally get approved for anything that you want. The first mistake is the one that is by far the most important, yet also the most overlooked. Late payments are the #1 reason on why credit scores plummet. It's because payment history makes up 35% of your score. Even with just one late payment, it can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. And it's not just about the score. Late payments make lenders see you as unreliable. This can make it harder to get approved for loans, credit cards, and even apartments. So here's what happens. When you don't pay your bills on time, your credit reports it to the credit bureaus. This creates a negative mark on your report, and it gets worse the longer that the payment stays unpaid. On top of that, you will face with late fees, interest rate increases, and other penalties. So the simplest way to avoid this is set up auto payment. This is the bare minimum that you should do for any account. By automating your payments, you make sure that you never miss a due date. I admit, I've been guilty of this myself. There's been times where I forgot to set up auto pay and I missed the payment. I only realized when I saw the late fee posted onto my account. These fees can range anywhere between $8 to $35. If it's your first offense, you can usually call them and ask them to remove the fee as a courtesy, but if you've been late multiple times, then your chances of getting removed are pretty slim. So here's what I recommend. At the very least, set up auto payment for the minimum payment on your credit card. This guarantees that you won't miss a payment. Ideally, you want to set up auto pay for the statement balance in full. That way you can avoid interest charges entirely. Now, I understand that life happens and you might not always have enough money in your account to cover the statement balance by the due date, but if that's the case, then you can ask the creditor to adjust your payment due date. It's easier than you think. All you gotta do is just call customer service number on the back of that credit card or a loan statement and request for a new due date. Choose a date that works for you, maybe right after payday or a day where most of your bills are due. That way, you can better plan your budget and avoid any surprises. AutoPay can save you from costly late payments, but even if you're paying on time, there's another mistake that could silently drag your score down. Opening too many credit lines in a short period of time can hurt your scores in multiple ways. First, it adds hard inquiries to your credit report, which makes up 10% of your score. Second, it shortens your average age of accounts, a key factor in your score that signals stability to lenders. And finally, lenders may see frequent applications as a red flag, making you look desperate or overextended. That perception alone can hurt your chances of getting approved for future credit. Every time that you apply for a credit card, loan, or line of credit, your lender runs a hard inquiry on your credit report. These inquiries temporarily lower your score, but they do add up and can make a significant impact. So the simplest fix is to give yourself time in between applications. Ideally, you want to wait at least 3 to 6 months between applying for new credit cards. 6 months is even better because hard inquiries have the most impact during the first year, but they stay on your report for up to 2 years. I'll admit, I've been guilty of this too. When my credit is good, I feel tempted to apply for multiple cards at once, thinking that I'll see what can I get approved for. But this approach does more harm than good. You gotta think your credit in seasons. There's time to grow and build your credit, and then there's time to use it, like harvesting a crop. So you gotta be strategic about when you apply and when just to let your credit age. Now, pre-approval offers can be tempting. You get a letter or email saying that you're already approved for some shiny new card and you think, why not? But most of these offers aren't for the best cards. They're for products that credit card companies are aggressively marketing to less informed consumers. You can fight the temptation by opting out all of these offers. Many issuers use third-party credit bureaus like LexisNexis to get your information and send you marketing materials. By filling out an opt-out form, you can stop these offers from coming in and focus on applying only when you actually need a new card. Finally, focus on managing the credit accounts that you already have. If your goal is to build your credit score, then the best thing that you can do is nothing. Just keep paying your bills on time. Over time, your credit will grow naturally without the need of new accounts. Remember, your credit score rewards patience and consistency. By staying disciplined and letting your accounts age, you will see your score improve without taking on any necessary risks. Since we just talked about how opening too many credit lines can hurt your profile, but what if you're looking for a simple, safe way to build credit without the risk of hard inquiries or overspending? This brings me to today's video sponsor, Kickoff. Kickoff is one of the most affordable and beginner-friendly tools designed to help you build your credit responsibly. Here's how it works. Kickoff provides a specialized trade line that gets reported to all 3 of the major credit bureaus. By making on-time payments, which is easy with AutoPay, you can build your payment history and improve key factors like utilization. Signing up just takes minutes with no credit check, no interest, and no hidden fees. Kickoff offers plans starting at just $5 a month, making it an easy, low-cost way to take control of your financial future. In fact, users who made on-time payments saw real results, with those under 600 credit improving an average of 28 points in their first month and 58 points in their first year. If your credit is holding you back, Kickoff is the safest and easiest way to build it. They're giving my audience 80% off of your first month, so click the link down in the description or scan the QR code to get started. Now that you know how to start building credit safely, let's talk about another critical mistake. Even with the perfect application strategy, there's still one habit that could quietly wreak havoc on your credit, and it's all about how to use your cards. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is treating credit cards like free money. And believe it or not, there's actually science behind this. A study by MIT found that using credit cards activates the brain's reward center more than paying with cash. This means credit cards not only reduce the pain of payment, but actually increases the pleasure of spending. While that sounds great, it also leads to overspending. The overspending can snowball into higher balances, missed payments, and spiraling debt, all of which will crush your credit score and your finances. Your credit card should be a tool for building credit, not for spending money that you don't have. Unlike a debit card, credit cards make it easy to spend beyond your means because you don't have to immediately see the money leaving your bank account. This is why budgeting strategies like the envelope system works so well. When you use cash, it's painful to physically hand over that money. But swiping a card, that barely registers, which makes it way too easy to overspend. So the easiest way to fix this is by treating your credit card like a debit card. Only spend on what you can pay off in full at the end of the month. If you want to be making a purchase with a debit card, then you got to ask yourself if you really need it. A common question I get is, why use a credit card at all if I have the cash in my bank account? The answer is simple. Credit cards aren't just for spending. They're for earning rewards on purchases that you make anyways and leveraging financing to grow your opportunities. They are not meant to get you into debt over things that you can't afford. The next way to avoid overspending isn't flashy, but it works. Track your spending. I know everybody talks about budgets and it can feel overwhelming, but it's proven. When you actively monitor your budget, you're far less likely to overspend. I used to use an Excel spreadsheet to track everything, but now I just prefer budgeting apps that simplify the process. There are free options like the Every Dollar app from Dave Ramsey. Personally, I use the Marnak budgeting app. It does have an annual fee, but it's my favorite because it lets me link all of my accounts. I'm not sponsored by them. I just love how easy it is to see everything that's coming in and coming out. When you know exactly how much money that you have and where it's going, you're less likely to make impulse purchases. Trust me, when you see how much you already spent this month, that random Amazon order or last minute splurge doesn't feel as tempting. So start tracking your spending, stick to your budget, and always treat your credit card like a debit card. Spending responsibly is the key to maintaining a healthy score, but even if you're managing your cards well, there's another mistake that could quietly hold you back, and it has nothing to do with how much you spend. It's all about what's missing from your credit profile. A well-rounded credit profile makes you more appealing to lenders and helps you build your score over time. Credit mix, which is the variety of credit accounts that you have, makes up about 10% of your score. If you only have one type of account, like a single credit card, it might be holding you back from reaching a higher score. Lenders want to see that you're able to manage different types of debt, not just one. Credit mix refers to the variety of credit types that you have, such as credit cards, which is revolving credit, installment loans like car or student loans, and mortgages. Having a mix shows lenders that you can handle both revolving and installment accounts responsibly. Now, on the other hand, a thin credit profile where you have very few or no accounts means that there's not enough history to demonstrate your creditworthiness. This makes lenders hesitant to approve you for new credit. So here's how to fix that. The first is to add new types of credit gradually. If you only have a credit card, consider adding a small installment loan or a credit builder loan to diversify your profile. Vice versa applies. If you only had loans in the past, like an auto loan or a student loan, opening a credit card can help you learn how to manage revolving accounts. Ideally, you want to have at least 7 to 10 primary accounts in your name reporting to the credit bureaus. This strengthens your profile for lending and helps you qualify for higher credit limits in the future. Second is avoid overdoing it. Balancing is key when building your credit. Adding too many accounts too quickly can hurt your score and create unnecessary complexity. For example, if you already have a student loan or a car loan, adding more credit builder loans won't help. It might even do more harm than good. For credit cards, you really only need 3 to 5 to build a strong profile. Personally, I have over 40, but I've been playing this credit card game for years. If you want multiple cards, that's fine. Just make sure that you keep everything organized and under control. And third is just to be patient. This is probably the hardest, but building a strong credit profile just takes time. Focus on managing what you currently have, paying your bills on time, and adding accounts only when you truly need them. Gradually building your credit is the best way to get a great return on investment for your efforts. Now, even with the perfect mix of accounts, there's still one mistake that people make that can undo years of progress. And it's all about closing the wrong accounts at the wrong time. Closing old accounts can hurt your score in 2 major ways. First, it shortens your credit history, which is a key factor in your score. And second, it reduces your available credit, which increases your utilization ratio. Even if you're not using a card, keeping it open could help your score more than you realize. When you close an account, you lose the ability to keep building positive history, and that has a huge impact on your credit profile over time. Let's expand on this a little bit further. If you had a credit card open for 5 years and then decide to close it, that 5-year history will remain on your credit report for 10 more years. However, it won't grow and continue contributing to your profile. This also affects the average age of your accounts, which is a factor that many people overlook when building their credit. And then there's credit utilization. Imagine having a total credit limit of $20,000 and one of your cards with a $5,000 limit gets closed. That new limit drops to $15,000. If your spending habits don't change, your utilization ratio will increase, which will hurt your score. Now, here's how to fix it. The best thing that you can do is to keep old accounts open for as long as possible. As long as there's no annual fee, an unused account can only benefit you. However, if the card does have an annual fee, consider using these steps before canceling. First is to call customer service, ask if there's any retention offers or promotions like a waive fee or bonus points to make keeping the card worthwhile. If there's no offers, see if you can downgrade the card to a no annual fee version, so this way you can maintain that account history without paying the fee. Sometimes closing an account is unavoidable. For example, as you get closer to paying off a loan, your credit score might actually be at its highest. That's because loans have a utilization factor similar to credit cards. The lower the balance is compared to the original amount, the better. Once you paid off the loan, the account will close and it will stop contributing to your credit history. But don't worry, the positive information from the loan will remain on your report for at least 10 years. For cards that you do decide to keep, make sure that you use them at least once or twice a year. Credit card issuers sometimes close dormant accounts without notice, which could hurt your score. To avoid this, put a small transaction on your card like a $5 Amazon reload every 6 months or so. This keeps the account active and ensures it continues contributing to your credit profile. So that's exactly how you can avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that are ruining your credit and start building a stronger financial future. Again, I would like to thank Kickoff for sponsoring this video. If you want a full dedicated review on Kickoff, whether or not it is worth it for you, check out this video over here.